It's Friday, and I'm back with the next in our Fanzine Friday series. Today we're taking a look at Swordplay number 1. Please stick around. I'm AZ Mountaineer. This is our channel, Old School Rules, a place for everyone that loves classic RPGs and anyone who'd like to learn more about them. Each week on the Fanzine Friday series, I take a fanzine from my collection off the shelf for a closer look, and today that's Swordplay from 1982. Hope you enjoy the video. So today we're taking a look at a brand new fanzine. This is called Swordplay. It's from the UK and it is published in 1982. The only name I see in here is Nige, N-I-G-E. No last name. I looked in both. There's 2 issues of this and I looked in both. Don't find any answer. It's a little bit different than things we've looked at. This is a really, really high production quality. This is super heavy stock and glossy cover, and then with pages folded in half and stapled down the side. So it's really one of the nicer amateur fanzines that we've taken a look at here in the last several years we've been doing this series. The artwork here on the cover is by Philip Castle. There's no signature on it, but on the intro page he tells us about who the author is or who the artist is. Very short. We have an editorial page that introduces us, Kuma, which is background on his AD&D campaign setting, Civies, which is for Traveler, AK class free trader, it's a ship for Traveler, and Barbarian Gems is an adventure for Traveler. So there right away what you notice is this is not just a Dungeons and Dragons centric fanzine. Again, Nige is the creator of this fanzine. He does all of the articles, and Philip Castle does the little bit of artwork that we have. Here's his introduction, and it's fairly straightforward. Brand new fanzine. He promises he's going to do this on a regular basis. He knows he's full of himself, but he says he thinks it's justified. He's really focused on what's coming. He says in issues 2 and 3, just you wait and see. You know, you'll realize I'm not just boasting. As he mentions, labor of love. He'll do pretty much all of this himself. He hopes to include things like D&D, RuneQuest, Traveler, space opera, different scenarios and things like that. And even would like to get into less well-known games like Top Secret and other things if he can find some interest in that from people who are reading this. So he encourages you to write in, tell him what you'd like to see, what you'd not like to see, and things going forward. And it gives a little bit of background of what you're going to see here in the fanzine. And this video is going to be pretty short because, as you can tell from the table of contents, there's not a lot here. So Kuma is actually just information about his setting. Share a little bit of that with you. An independent city-state situated 1,000 miles from the civilized western lands, which maybe is where the rest of the campaign you might have is if you want to add Kuma to your campaign setting. It sits astride the Casas River and is 50 miles from the source in the Silent Mountains. As background, for thousands of years, the smiths of Kuma have been making excellent swords since the demise of the first Varian Empire, the finest in Meliana, in his world. Only a few of these have ever reached the western lands. They prefer to keep them anonymous, keep their works hidden, and they remain lost along with the rest of the Varian Empire. Basically, it's humans with just a few dwarves in this town of 14,000 people. They shun all magic users, and basically, he says they'll cast a spell called Mind Twister, which is interesting because they don't like magic users, but they'll cast a Mind Twist spell on you and tell you to leave. If you come back, then you're going to get more severely punished. And they also shun elves, and they'll treat them just like the magic users and force them to leave immediately. And basically the rest of this article just gives you the background. He talks about his government, where there's a warlord, has a grand council of guilds, tells you all kinds of specific stuff like how often they meet, who the different officers are, the different roles of different people within the guild, and their obligation to go back and forth. Apparently the warlord is seen as somebody a little mercurial because they say there's only one person who takes messages there, and other than, I think, the mayor. And that person doesn't always survive their 1-year term of office, which implies that the warlord may just randomly kill people, I suppose. He gives a lot of detail about their system of the courts. They have the church, military, guild courts, and common courts. He explains what type of things are done by each of those. It's got different levels of crimes and gives you the punishments based on the crime and how a decision would be made there. They've got a person who explains the law, the person who asks questions of witnesses, and then 3 other people who are supposed to be randomly chosen from the community who decide guilt or innocence. And then if guilty, then all 5 get together and decide specifically on the punishment. He's got some tables you can use to decide more specifically within the context given what the punishment is going to be. Also, a little information about the calendar. He's got what they call first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, seventh day. And then their weeks are air, fire, earth, and water. And then they have some different names for their months and their years. That years are sort of like the Chinese system, because the year of the dog, bull, cat, monkey, shark, etc. And he's got some special events that occur in that community. And that's it. I thought there was going to be maybe a scenario or some type of adventure there, but it's just background. Okay, then we have a short article on Traveler. I generally don't do much in terms of covering this since I didn't play Traveler, but this is just a light air raft, a new vehicle you could use. And then he's got the AK class free trader, which plays into this campaign that's going to be here in a minute. So this is a spaceship. And the whole rest of the fanzine is taking up this thing called Barbarian Gems. And it is a campaign scenario for Traveler. It's actually, I like it quite a lot, even though don't do Traveler, I think you could modify this from Traveler to beat even D&D. And you'll see here how in a minute you'd have to make obviously some technological adjustments. So 2 weeks ago, your players are contacted by an acquaintance who has a piece of information to sell. You decide to buy it. And in this case, what it is a recording. Obviously, you'd have to do something different for a D&D type of adventure since we don't have video recordings or audio recordings. And so it's scrambled, just like if you wanted to give them a scroll, you get bits and pieces, parts are missing. The short of it is somebody who has found this planet and has a barbarian, as they call them, barbarian civilization. But importantly for Traveler, they have natural rubies, which I guess are a necessary component to make good laser weapons. And so natural rubies are super, super valuable. And that's what catches your attention when you hear about some natural rubies. Somehow you become convinced that you must think there are natural ruby mines on this planet. So you just, your eyes light up with the potential fortune. So here's what's kind of fun about it. It's sort of a multi-step adventure. And so the first thing you're going to do is get a spaceship. And so you'll get the AK class free trader from this fanzine as your ship. And then you're going to go to an auction house and buy things to take with you that you think you'll be able to trade with the people on this planet. And so they conduct a little auction and they give you the lots, and he has a little system here for your rolling a d6 to figure out whether your characters are going to be outbid or not. And they can put down what their bid's going to be. That doesn't really matter. You roll the referee's going to roll a d6 and determine whether or not the characters are outbid on that particular item. And so you're going to get some of these things you'll win, some of them you'll lose. And he just describes what they are, like some aluminum ingots, some nylon, some hardwood, some wheat, some corn, some different type of pharmaceuticals, some metal tools, armor, blades, generators, antibiotics, precious stones, toys, oil, carbines, coats, ammunition. And so you would just randomly decide what to get. And then unknown to you, then he has basically information to tell you how the people of this planet will react to this thing. Some things they will really like, some things they will completely shun. And so you don't know, unless you're very intuitive about this, to figure out what might be good to trade. You could end up with a bunch of stuff that they refuse to trade with you, or you could end up with stuff they're glad to give you a bunch of rubies, or maybe even take you and show you where the mines are or whatever, based on how nice the things are that you decide to buy and get to trade with them. Layered on top of that, there's another group that is spying on the characters and has heard rumors about these rubies. They don't know where to go, so they're going to try and follow you, as I piece this together, to get to that planet, hope to get there ahead of you, hope to either take you out or be more successful in bargaining for these rubies on there. And so you've got that layered in here. as well. And as you might imagine, no matter what you sort of try to do, they're going to get there more or less at the same time, so that there can be that kind of conflict between the two of you. And so there could be, that can go all kinds of different ways, as can the interaction with the people on that planet. And then obviously, if you're successful in getting rubies, you can bring those back and you can get all kinds of valuable stuff from them back in the home world. So as I say, I think I like the layered nature of that. I really like the auction being something that you have no idea, if you're going to, well, first off, there's the competition of the auction, and then you have no idea whether or not you're going to get something that's going to be beneficial. So I think to me, that seems like that would actually be a lot of fun. And then you get this sort of faction competition in there with the other group that's going to compete against you. So anyway, all in all, I thought that was really, really well done. Let's look at some of the art. We've got this little hovercraft, and then this little thing down here, common D&D expression, no you can't. I think this is supposed to be the referee pulling his hair out. And then just a couple other things. Here's some supplies that this guy's purchased, and then down here is Cedric Chiefsguard, who's one of the native people from this planet in the Traveler Adventure. This is the rear cover. Just wanted to share it with you. It's got this little Zorro looking dude on there. No idea what he's supposed to mean. Okay, like I said, a little shorter, but still really fun fanzine. This is called Swordplay #1. There are 2 of these. We'll look at the other one next week, and then we're going to move on to take a look at some of the things I discussed with some of the members. We've got a video where I looked through some of the fanzines off my shelf to kind of talk about what we might pick next. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hope you're enjoying this series, and I hope you're subscribed. If you have friends who might enjoy our content, please send them our way. Hopefully they'll be part of the community as well. Have a great Friday, have a great weekend, and until next time, my friends, keep rolling 20s.